This is a clip from Melanie Mack, The Quartering, and I think Hannah Claire. Is Hannah Claire in this clip? Yeah, Hannah Claire's in this clip. So talking about the Malcolm in the Middle, Life Still Unfair revival series. And she says something pretty stupid here. But, I mean, it's Melanie Mack. What do we expect here at this point? Let's listen.
It's wild to me. I mean, do you think this is just part of it? Oh, and they also made the wheelchair guy gay. You know,
Really?
By the way, like if you're calling him wheelchair guy, maybe you don't care enough to be upset that they put him into a same-sex relationship. Maybe it's not really that important to you. Maybe you're not a huge fan, and maybe you're just virtue signaling at this point.
Was his name Stevie? He was always had asthma.
How can a wheelchair guy be gay? Like, can he?
I don't know.
I mean, I'm just. You think if he's like, well, where does the paralysis start? Because
yeah.
How is the wheelchair guy gay? So gay people can't be in wheelchairs? Where does the paralysis start? Like, what does she think? Hold on, let's run this back. How can the guy in the wheelchair be gay? I'm trying to figure out if there's a train of thought there that I'm missing.
You know,
Really?
was his name Stevie? He was always had asthma.
How can a wheelchair guy be gay? Like, can he?
I don't know.
I mean, I'm just. You think if he's like, well, where does the paralysis start? Because
yeah, that's true.
Where does the paralysis start? And Quartering's like, yeah, that's true. Do we, when I say we, I mean these guys, do they think that sexuality happens in the lower half of your body?
almost sounds
Melanie
like
has questions.
I'm
She
thinking
needs
if
to
the
know.
wheelchair guy is gay, then obviously he can't be the dude part of that. So does that almost?
He can't be the dude part of that. Yo. I knew we were going to start off pretty cold at the beginning. I knew it was going to be rough, but this is it's a lot.
Feels abusive for a guy.
Oh, and he's like super gay. He wears earrings and stuff. Like they've feminized him.
That
No, I think
seems
there's-
so wrong for a dude to be doing
Yeah.
a wheelchair guy. I don't know. I can't. It seems messed up on so many levels, man.
Yeah, maybe.
You know, I talk about how stupid these guys are, sometimes as a joke, because I just think they're really bad people. And I'm like, well, maybe they just do it for the money and they play stupid people as an act. Maybe that's what the act is. This is probably the dumbest thing I've ever heard them talk about. Why is it messed up that a guy in a wheelchair would be in a gay relationship? What's messed up about that? She's like, why did they do that to him? What are you talking about? I mean, there's not even like a way to approach this from an angle where it's like, I'm going to debunk this, right? Debunking this would be just explaining that sexuality doesn't happen at a certain point on your spinal column. That's not how sexuality works. But I feel like every adult should know this. I don't think that's sort of... Like, does that really have to be said? That if you're paralyzed at any level, it doesn't matter... I have to hear the end of that one more time. I'm sorry. I have to hear the end of this one more time because I just cannot process how stupid the two of them sound. Hannah's very quiet, but Melanie and Quartering are just loud and dumb here.
He can't be the dude part of that. So that almost feels abusive for a guy.
Oh, and he's like super gay. He like wears earrings and stuff. Like they've feminized him.
That
No, I think
seems
there's
so wrong.
Yeah, only super gay people or super gay guys wear earrings. Straight guys don't wear earrings at all, right? That's never happened.
For a dude to be doing
Yeah.
a wheelchair guy. I don't know. I can't. It seems messed up on so many levels, man.
Yeah, maybe we break it down on a Tardcast.
Tardcast. Is that a real thing? I also want to point out, I make it very clear here, the humor, the juvenile humor that's running through their minds is they're picturing how sex would look for a man in a wheelchair, and then they're including the aspect of it being gay sex. So they're Quartering right now in his head is picturing this. Melanie is picturing this. She's thinking about this. That's where the humor is. That's where the joke is. It's not about, oh, it's really sad that they did this to this character, or which it's equally as awful, but it's a different approach. Like, they're not mad that the character is actually gay. They're not upset that the character is in a wheelchair. Those things are, that's not really a factor, I think. I think what it is they're, in their minds, they're picturing what sex would look like for a man in a wheelchair and another man. Because when they think of gay people, that's the first thing their minds go to. They talk about us like our lives revolve around sexuality. I could do streams every day. Matter of fact, I stream twice a week, sometimes 3 times a week. And I don't ever have to talk about sex. My personal sex. Like having sex with somebody. Matter of fact, I don't think I've ever even talked about it on stream. But they believe that if a gay person is present in a movie or a TV show or something like that, they believe if that's the case, that it's inherently sexual. They immediately go to, what would it be like for these people to have sex? And that's a level of objectification that I have to deal with from these guys all the time. Whenever I'm around someone who is expressed homophobic opinions, who's said bigoted stuff about gay people, in my mind when I'm talking to them, and even when they pretend like, well, I'm okay with it, it's just not blah, 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 whatever. In my mind, I have to wonder, are they picturing like what my personal relationship would be like with another man? In their mind, are they imagining that? Is that something that I have to be worried about every time I'm around somebody like this? Because I can't imagine any other way that this would be funny, or I can't imagine where the humor would be otherwise. Ashton says, it's the worst 90s gay man stereotypes. Yeah. Bumpkin says, she's a Christian, by the way. Yeah. Well, apparently all 3 of them are. Apparently everybody in this clip is Christian. Allegedly.